Out of all of the NBA player type of builds in 2K, Zion Williamson is one of the most fun to create every single year, because not only are you able to dunk on whoever you want, you are handling the ball like a guard, and you are built like an absolute taco truck. Like, we are talking Zion from the Doritos commercial, and if you don't already know what I'm talking about, it was not a good look. It really wasn't. With that being said, it is about time that we get into the build for today's video, but real quick before we do that, I want to quickly thank you guys for almost 700 subscribers on the channel. I appreciate you guys so much. I mean, I started posting consistently and seriously in 2K26, so the fact that we went from like 30 subs to almost 700, it means a lot to me, but I just had to quickly say that. I know most of you guys probably don't care, but had to get it out there. Now, without further ado, though, let's just get into the Zion build. So the very first thing you guys are going to want to do is make it a left-handed player with the jersey number 1. Because if you want to be looking like Zion, you can't be right-handed number 23. Like, we can't be having that. Then for the position, you guys are going to want to go with a 6'7" power forward, 247 pounds, and a 7-foot wingspan. The reason we are going 247 is you get a body type that really looks like Zion at this weight, and you don't lose too much, speed with ball or agility or anything like that. Now, realistically, you could bump this all the way to 251 if you want to be the heaviest possible and still get everything you need, but your agility does go down by 1, so I would just stick with, 247, 248. You're going to be looking like Zion, trust me. So starting us off with the finishing attributes, here is where we are going to spend a lot on this build. And by a lot, I genuinely mean a lot, because we are going with an 80 close shot, which, it's not too bad, just a little bit of something to hit those shots under the rim, a 90 driving layup, an 89 driving dunk, and then we are also going to go with a 90 standing dunk and a 77 post control. The finishing on this build is absolutely insane, but you guys are going to see that already brings us up to a 67 overall, which that's, kind of a lot for one category. And just to quickly explain the thought process behind everything, the reason we went for something like a 90 driving layup, which seems pretty damn high, is we are getting gold float game, silver mix master with the opportunity to cap break this later, maybe get it gold, and then we also have gold physical finisher once we do upgrade the strength. Then obviously 89 dunk, pretty self-explanatory. You get all of the pro contacts, and you can +4 this later to get gold posterizer if you want. Although I'm going to keep it a stack with y'all. Silver and gold posterizer in this game, the only thing that really makes it so you can boom on everybody is a certain takeover. We're going to talk about it a little bit later. So in my opinion, 89 dunk is fine, but 93, if you want it, is there. The reason we went with a 90 standing dunk, even though you can't get big man contacts on a 6'7" player, is it just makes putbacks and standing lobs so much easier to throw. And this build, in my opinion, is going to be a pick and roll / pick and pop demon, which pick and pop sounds kind of crazy for Zion, but y'all will see what I mean. Then for the 77 post control, we pretty much just get all of the post badges on silver, which in my opinion is nice because at 6'7", you might get, a weaker defender on you or somebody who's smaller than you that you could just take advantage of in the paint. No diddy. Moving on to the shooting though, here is where it gets a little bit interesting. We are going with a 60 mid-range, a 63 ball, and a 61 free throw. This looks bad. Don't get me wrong. It looks absolutely terrible. You don't get a single shooting badge to your name. But here's the thing. 4 cap breakers on your three-pointer will bring this all the way to a 78. And 5 cap breakers will get you to an 81. So if you have cap breakers, this is disgustingly good. If you don't have cap breakers, maybe wait a little bit to make this build. But once you get 4 cap breakers, I mean, this thing is genuinely disgusting. And you can hit, I mean, with a 60 mid-range, you can absolutely hit, but like 81 3-ball, you're going to be very consistent as a popper. And obviously, as a roller, nobody is going to want to get in your way. Like, these stats are crazy. Now, for our playmaking attributes, here's where we unfortunately had to spend a lot more than I would have liked. We went with a 71 pass act, which, don't get me wrong, is good value. Then we had to go with an 86 ball handle and an 80 speed with ball. And before you say anything, I know on a true Zion build, he really should have like, a 75 speed with ball and then maybe like a 75 ball handle, right? The thing is, if we do that, we don't get blur takeover. You have to have at least an 85 ball handle and an 80 speed with ball in order to get blur. And if you guys have not played the game yet this year, blur is the best dunking takeover. I genuinely don't know why, but the actual takeover that's supposed to boost your dunks, which, what is it called? Poster machine, is not that good. Like, it really is not that good for, you know, contact dunks and skill dunks. But blur just gives you a meter that is literally impossible to green, like to not green. It genuinely makes no sense. If you guys don't believe me, you can watch any video on the takeover. Blur is what you need to be just booming on everybody. I don't make the rules. I think it's very dumb that it works that way, but I mean, it's 2K at the end of the day. We have to do what we have to do to get blur. Now for our defense, I'm not even going to sit here and lie to you guys. We had to go with some budget options because, unfortunately, as I just said, the playmaking costed so goddamn much. Ball handle and speed with ball, not cheap. Not cheap on a 6'7" at all. So we went with a 60 interior defense, a 74 perimeter defense, a 73 steal, and a 78 block. By no means are these defensive stats terrible. We still get pretty much every badge we need. Like, we get silver immovable, we get bronze on-ball menace, we get bronze pick dodger, bronze challenger, silver off-ball pest. We get a lot of solid badges, along with, you know, interceptor and silver high flying denier, bronze paint patroller. That can also be +1 or +2 very easily because it's tier 2. We get a lot of badges. They're just not on super high levels, which at first kind of sucks, but I will show you guys something you can do with the cap breakers to make the defense a hell of a lot better when we are done with the build. Moving on from defense though, the rebounding, I wish we could have gotten a little bit more, but we went with an 80 O board and a 70 D board. I wish we had, you know, more D board than O board. It was not going to happen because of how expensive D board is. And I still wanted to get us, you know, silver rebound chaser, silver box out beast. I'm pretty sure you guys can kind of pick up what I'm putting down. If we tried to do this the other way around, it just wouldn't have worked. Like, we would not have had the attributes. Finally, for the physicals though, we went with an 85 speed, 81 agility, 83 strength, and an 80 vertical. This build right here, in my opinion, perfectly encapsulates Zion Williamson. And you guys will see we get shades of Zion Williamson, Nasty Man, and Scotty Barnes, along with the name Blow By Versatile Finisher. That is a Zion-esque name. I don't know what else to say to anybody. That is so Zion-esque. And you guys already know we can't make a build without showing the cap breaker screen. So here it is right here. As y'all can see, the shooting cap breakers, like I said, are absolutely insane. 4 of them will get you silver set shot specialist, and then 5 of them will get you all the way to an 81 3 ball. You may be able to finesse for an 83 and get, you know, bronze limitless by upgrading the 3 a little bit and then taking some other stuff down, but that is completely up to you guys. As for the rest of the cap breakers, the main things I want you guys to pay attention to are the defensive rebound, because if you cap break this a few times, you can actually get this all the way up to an 83. Not bad if you're trying to, you know, kind of play like a hybrid back end type of player. And then also you have the interior defense and block cap breakers. 3 of these will get you to an 84 block, and then 3 of these will get you to a 70 interior defense. That'll give you silver paint patroller, which can easily be +1 or even +2 to get gold or, you know, Hall of Fame for that matter. So overall, the cap breakers on this build are genuinely disgusting. As for the reasons I put my cap breakers where I did, I mean, the 3-point shot, pretty self-explanatory, but the +1 dunk, I just wanted some of the better dunk packages like front clutches and whatnots, and eventually I do plan on getting that to a 93. As for speed, I mean, it's just good to be as fast as possible in this game. Strength +1 gets us Hall of Fame strong handle, and so on and so forth. My next spots are definitely going to be block, interior defense, and then after I get those up, probably going to max out my speed and then go to dunk, because as I said before, the difference between an 89 and a 93 dunk in this game, it's really not too much. Moving on from the cap breakers though, there is one more thing we need to talk about on this build, and that is going to be your max +1 and your max +2 badges. Because you are 6'7" on this build, you get access to some very interesting badge tiering, specifically with things like brick wall. In my opinion, getting your brick wall to Hall of Fame should be the #1 thing you are going to do on this build if you plan to set screens with it, which in my opinion is a very effective way to use the build, because I mean, we have the attributes to roll, we have the attributes to pop, and, you know, 86 speed Hall of Fame brick wall, that's kind of insane when it comes to, you know, being a screen setter. However, I do know that isn't going to be everyone's playstyle, so if you don't want to use brick wall, I would strongly recommend using paint patroller. Paint patroller in the tier 2 slot is just so goddamn valuable, especially if you do cap break your interior and your block. You could easily have this on Hall of Fame, which is disgustingly good, and it makes the defense very, very viable on this build, even though our attributes, you know, they didn't start off the best. As for the rest of your max plus 1s and 2s, set shot specialist should be your go-to in your tier 1 slot. It is just so goddamn good to have. And then in your plus 1s, I would strongly recommend using both a rebound chaser and box out beast. That way you can reliably grab boards, because as I mentioned before, our D board is a little bit on the lower side on this build, and we need something to kind of offset and make up for that. But if you maybe don't care about rebounding as much, gold lightning launch in this slot is also very, very good. There is a noticeable jump between the silver and gold level of this badge. So in my opinion, those are kind of the two I would strongly recommend using. And then if you do have access to both of your crew max plus 1s, once again, I would use this tier 1 on whatever you didn't use between rebound chaser and lightning launch. And then this tier 2, in my opinion, high flying denier is going to be your best choice. It's going to help you contest jump shots. It's going to help you get chase down blocks. Just a very good overall badge to have. And I guess while we're here, we can talk about specializations a little bit. I have finishing specialization on this build, so I am using posterizer in my plus 1, and then my max plus 2 as physical finisher. If you guys also have the finishing specialization, this is probably what I'd use. Maybe you could use something like float game if you really want. It is a disgustingly good badge. The floaters are very, very strong this year. That being said though, boys, that is pretty much going to be everything that I have for today's video. If you did find it useful, I would greatly appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel, as well as left a like and a comment letting me know what you thought. It's been Gravely. Peace.